Had another rough conversation with the voices in your head. They said that love has shut the door on you, and you'd be better off instead. Girl, don't you listen? Your time is gonna come. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. Yeah. So when you gonna let somebody in? It's a classic situation where you don't know how to feel. So you go it alone. You turn off the phone when the struggle gets too real. Yeah. Girl, you better listen. It's time to make a change. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. So when you gonna let somebody in? Yeah, let 'em in. You talk about lonely, you talk about scared. I think you're thinking that nobody cares. Well, you know it ain't over, but where to begin? You gotta play if you wanna win. So when you gonna let somebody had another rough conversation with the voices in your head. They said that love has shut the door on you, and you'd be better off instead. Girl, don't you listen?
All right, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Happy Friday afternoon, broadcasting from the B-Level Entertainment Studios. I am your host, B-Level, and today, Friday, as always, you are listening to Straight Talk No Chaser, where it's story time every Friday at 12 noon, where I do story times about something that's going on. Before I get into the story time, I've got a couple announcements. The first thing that I need to tell you guys is that this live is pre-recorded, okay? This is not live. As you can see down there, it is pre-recorded. On Fridays at afternoon, I have so many things that I need to do, but I promise you to be diligent and on time, so I have to pre-record this live. But I promise you, if I need you guys to please share, just like I ask you to do when I am really live. I need you guys to share this live. Please share. I'm going to check and see who really supports me by sharing this. So please share and put thumbs up in the comments when you've shared it. And I will promise you that I will go back and I will reply to every comment. Okay. Also, please like it. All right. And please comment, and I will be sure to go back and answer all of the comments, even though I am not doing this at this present time. Okay. All right. So I got a couple announcements. That's the first announcement. The second announcement is I need to tell you guys about this dope podcast that happens every Sunday at 7 o'clock. Okay. It's called UTB Short. The full name is Unpacking the Baggage Podcast. And I started this podcast over almost 2 years now. And I have a great crew with me. I have Andrea Hicks. I have Tristan Hobbs. Everybody know them. I have Anthony P. I have Candy Webb. And I also have Jayla Jefferson, and she does a segment called Jayla with the T. It is super dope. It happens every Sunday at 7 o'clock. It is the flagship of what we are doing. It is what we started. It is the umbrella brand, UTB, and all of these subsidiaries. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but all of these segments come under the UTB umbrella. But that's it. UTB, Unpacking the Baggage, every Sunday. Please set your calendars to be on social media with us every Sunday at 7 p.m. That's our flagship brand. And then we have a different segment on the Level with B Level, which I have set out to have conversation with extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. And it happens every Wednesday at 7:30, where I have one-on-one sit-down conversations with different people. And here's the October calendar. We've already had the prosecutor, Will Jones. I just talked to Broadway Joe, I guess 2 days ago. This Wednesday, I'm going to talk to Alicia Johnson. She's the guru of the hair industry, right? Alicia Johnson. She is so super dope, and we're going to sit down and talk with her. And then the following week, October 22nd, I've got Princess Gupton. You guys know she has an esthetician school, Little Rock Day Spa. She's doing some food reviews and everything. She is super dope. And then I will end my month by talking to director Andrea Lewis, who is super dope. She is on the Little Rock Board of Directors, and she is doing a great job. And then we will go into November. So, and then the last thing, you guys, you know about Straight Talk No Chaser, but here I am doing a series on Straight Talk No Chaser called Surviving B-Level. Dun, 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 dun. And Surviving B-Level is really, I took it off the Surviving R. Kelly theme, right? But obviously it's not like, there's no scandals. There's no coercion. There's no tying women up. It's merely me having story time. I see you guys doing story time on TikTok and all of that all the time about your past dating experiences and your relationships. So I decided to do story time on my past relationships, maybe my rendezvous and my situationships. Now, I am protecting everything. I'm trying to protect the innocent. So I am changing so much of the story that because I'm sharing this, some of the relationships and rendezvous and whatever I've had or whatever I've talked about, they've moved on, right? So in respect to them and respect that some of them have had, you know, marriages and some of them are in other relationships, I'm protecting them. So I'm going to change so much of the story that you're not going to be able to know who I'm talking about, even though I'm going to have story time. But the events that I am talking about are 100% true. I might say that this person that I was dealing with is a heavyset woman. That might mean that she is a lighter woman, a thin woman. I might say she has braids. That means maybe she wears a wig, or maybe she has short hair. I might say that she is a white woman. Now, police believe I've never dated a white woman. So if I say she white woman, y'all know I'm changing that. She is obviously a black woman. She is some other nationality. I've, dated more than just black women, but I've never dated a white woman. So I am changing a lot of the things to protect the identity of the people that I'm talking about, because I am responsible. And with this platform, I'm not going to be messy. I'm going to be responsible with it. But I also want to tell my story that I was a part of. So is Surviving B-Level. That's what that's about. And I'm going to do that the whole month of October. Okay. Last week, I talked about Situationship number 1. This week, I am going to talk about drum roll. Do I have a drum roll? Let's have some music. Let's put that on. I don't have a drum roll. So this week, I am going to talk about situation number 2, fatal attraction. Big hand clap. Hand clap for situationship number 2, fatal attraction. And this situationship that I was in and that I'm going to talk about today, I'm putting in parentheses fatal attraction, because it really was not a Fatal Attraction where she was trying to kill me and run me over like the movie A Thin Line Between Love and Hate with Martin, but it was a fatal attraction. She did not want to let go. So that's her name. I'm going to reply to her situationship number 2, fatal attraction. So I want to set the stage of this conversation, right? I was divorced. I was married, but I was separated. And my first marriage, okay? This was my first marriage. This was my children's mom. And we had decided that we were separated. We hadn't decided or discussed about divorce, but we were heading to a divorce. In both of my marriage, we sold our home, and our plans were to build another home. So in both of my marriages, we lived in an apartment for about a year in order to find a lot, get plans, find an architect, and build our home. Well, during this time, we separated. That's when the devil shows up, and we end separation. So my first wife had moved with her mother. I was still living in the apartment, but we stayed separated so long that the end of the lease of the apartment was ended. And so my first wife actually bought another home. And then I didn't want to buy a home, but I wanted to lease a home. I wanted to lease a place that was brand new. I wanted to lease a place that people would know. I didn't want to lease an old house. I wanted to lease something that was new, a new home. So I found these properties in Benton. And at that time, I think I had bought a club. Yeah, I had bought into this nightclub, my first nightclub. But when you have businesses that start up, you don't really have income. I had left my 9 to 5. And so I really didn't have leasing history. So I had met situationship number 2, fatal attraction. I don't even remember where I met her at. But I think I was introduced to her, but we started this situationship. And it was a situationship because I was still married. I was separated and about to go through a divorce. But that's what made it a situationship. She wasn't dating anybody. So we started having our situation. Start hanging out, start dating. And by the way, my ex was dating too. So she had a situationship. I wasn't the only one that had a situationship. So she had a situationship as well. So during this time, I find a place, the lease is up. I need to find a place to live. Found these new homes that I want, but I didn't have any rental history. So I had this agreement that, okay, I'm dating this girl. I'm dating situationship number 2, fatal attraction. And she was like, oh, cool. I'll put it in my name. I'll put the house in my name. We cool. I know what you're doing. I mean, you got a wife and I'm cool with that. And there's no strings attached. And I'll put it as long as you pay the rent and I'll put it in my name. Why in the hell did I go for that? Why in the hell did I agree to that? So I wanted the home. So I said, flip it. Okay, let's put it in your name. So she puts the house in her name. Now, situations happen all the time in dating. She put the house in her name. I went and I've spent almost like $20,000 buying furniture, furnished it, decorated it. It was laid, brand new house, dope. So obviously she had to sign the lease. She had to get the key. She brought the key to me. I never thought that she would make a copy of the key. Thought she brought me 2 keys like you get when you lease a home. And so, we dated for a while. We dated. We still kind of had our situationship. But at some point in time, me and my wife then, because I was still married, decided that we're going to get back together. We're going to try it. All right. We had stayed separated for a year. That's how long we were separated. So you guys can timeline know. And so we decided that we're going to try to make it work. Well, my ex-wife had bought a home, but this was a new home. This was a bigger home. It was a better home. So we decided that we're going to move in the new home. So we were planning on moving in this house that was in this other chick's name. One day while we were getting back together, my wife and I, we had started back dating. We had started back hanging out. And, I had this situationship, but it was a situationship. You how that goes. You see somebody, 1 week, you don't see them together for another week or two. And it was cool. I was still communicating with her. But somehow she found out that had gotten back or trying to get back with my wife. And so one day, my wife is sitting there and we're watching TV in this house. She's sleep, we're just watching, we're Netflixing and chilling. I hear we're kind of dozing off. I'm asleep. My wife is asleep, and I hear somebody open the door. So somebody situated it's situation. So she walks in and walks straight to the bedroom. To me, she'll say anything. I guess she got an extra key made and straight to the bedroom and closed the door and locked the bedroom door. So my wife was like, "Who is that walking in the house?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, this is situationship number 2, fatal attraction." I actually said her name to my wife, and my wife's like, "Who is she?" Well, it's a chick. I got to explain. It's a chick that I was dating while you was doing your thing. We were both doing our thing. So I get up and I go say, and I call the girl name, like, situationship, fatal attraction. What the hell are you doing? And she was like, I'm in here. Like, what are y'all doing? And I'm like, what are y'all doing in my house? I said, your house? I said, I put the deposit down on the house. I've been paying the rent. This is my furniture. What the hell you mean your house? She was like, y'all in my house. Y'all here validating my house. I'm like, girl, what the hell are you talking about? You said that you were going to put the house in your name to help me out. Now you know that I'm possibly getting back with my wife. Now you tripping. Now y'all need to leave. Y'all need to leave. So I'm like, what the hell? She is in the bedroom while my wife and I are in the living room, and we can't get this chick out the house. We are knocking on the door, being like, situationship, fatal attraction. Situationship number 2, fatal attraction. You need to leave. You need to leave. Nah, I ain't leaving. So anyway, my wife was like, well, listen, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna let you get that straight. We good. I ain't got no issue. Just go and get the chick out. I had my own thing going on. I ain't mad. You got to figure this out. So they end up talking to the girl, and she was like, nah, I ain't leaving. And so I'm like, this is some bunch of BS, right? So I go to that same leasing company, and there was, because the guy had owned a whole bunch of new houses on this street. So I go to that same leasing company that she went and got, and I put the house in my name, which my dumb tail should have did in the first place. So I go and I rent the house right next door. So I said, cool, this is your house. I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna move all my furniture. I'm gonna go get my house, and my ex-wife and my family are gonna move in the house next door. Crazy shit. I promise you, I can't make this shit up. I promise you, I'm not making this up. Now, keep in mind, this was long. Any story time that I tell, this had to be 20 years ago, 15, 16, 17 years ago. This was a long time ago. So we move in the house next door. Everything is fine. I can't remember what month we moved in, but everything was fine. She lived, my situationship number 2, fatal attraction, lived next door. She stayed there. She really couldn't afford the house, so I knew that she was going to get put out because she couldn't afford the rent. It was really expensive. So around Christmas time, I never will forget this, and I'm going to end the story around here. Around Christmas time, we had a Christmas tree up, and my family was out at a family house, and the alarm, we get a notification from the alarm. I had an alarm on the house saying that the back window, the mid window, bedroom window, was broken. And so we're in Little Rock, so it takes some time to get to Benton. So I come home, my wife come home, me and my wife come home, and we see that somebody has broken into the middle window, which is my son's, that was Lil Brian's room. We noticed that they've taken the Christmas presents. We noticed that they've taken pictures off the wall, and they're just taking, it was strange because they had taken a lot of stuff that I'm thinking, why would a robber want this? So they had taken pictures off the wall. So they had opened taken some of the kids' Christmas presents, just strange stuff, decorative stuff. They had taken all of these things. So it was crazy, but okay, we got the window fixed, didn't think anything of it. And it was right before Christmas, so we had to rebuy all of the gifts for the kids and all of the gifts that this person stole that broke in the house. Y'all are getting what's going on. So probably about March, this is December, we never think anything of it. So around March of the next following year, which I don't remember what year it was, but this was December, Christmas, March, situationship number 2, fatal attraction, ended up getting evicted. The police end up having to come and serve her an eviction notice. She doesn't leave, so they have to force her to leave. They had to break down the door because I guess she never paid any rent. And so the sheriff at that point in time of Benton County comes and they breaks in the house, and she's in the house. They end up taking her to jail, and she had been doing a lot of other stuff, breaking the law, which I don't want to speak on. It has nothing to do with me. But when they break in the house to put her out, the detective called me. He was like, "Hey, somebody broke in your house in December, and what did you say they stole?" And I list off the things. So they said, "Come over to the house next door and see if these are your things." Y'all tell me why situationship number 2, Fatal Attraction, had broken into our home, stole my kids' Christmas gifts, stole decorative things off the wall, stole just different things that was in my house and put them next door. Went through the back, and because our back, the way the back doors were, was made, you could parade all of those things from one. They were so close, they were literally right close to each other. And she had all of my gifts in her house for that whole 4 months that I thought some robber had broken into the house. But my things were in her house next door. So that's the story of situationship number 2, Fatal Attraction. So how to end it is she ended up getting in a lot of trouble. She ended up, I ended up having to press charges on her because it was my thing. So we ended up, having to press charges on her. She ended up going and doing some time because she had had some other issues with the run-ins that I don't want to talk about, her business. But she ended up doing some time. Um, and when she got out, she did contact me and apologize for the things she did, and I forgave her. Part of being a Christian and part of just if I'm trying to do right, people forgave me for my insecurities and things that I did wrong, so I forgave her. But that was the story about situationship number 2, Fatal Attraction. Fellas, have you guys ever had a real live fatal attraction? Now, and I'm saying fatal attraction because she didn't try to harm me. She didn't try to harm my wife. So it's not a fatal. Let's probably play on words. It's not a fatal attraction, but it is a messed up attraction. It led me to understand, and the moral of this story, because I always want something in the story, fellas, ladies, it takes 2 to quit. If one quit and the other one don't, you have a problem. So when you're in a situationship, when you're in a relationship, when you in a rendezvous or whatever you're in, it takes 2. 2 people have to quit. And at the same time. And one, in this past situation, one had quit. I had quit, but she hadn't. So it led to a bad situationship. So fellas, be careful how you deal with these situationships. Never let a woman put anything that you own in her name, because if it's a car, if it's a house, if it's anything, that will change when she gets mad. It's a proven fact. It is a proven fact that something that a woman put in her name that you're using it, that you need, as soon as you bring another woman in the car or the house, all bets are off. So never put anything in their name, and it takes 2 to quit. That's my story about, big round of applause. So that is my story about situationship number 2, Fatal Attraction. Next week, I am going to try to tell a good story, right? I've had 2 weeks of situationships. And I don't want y'all to think that I've not had any great relationships. I don't want y'all to think that my whole dating life has been drama and BS and situationships, right? I've had some great relationships. I do want to highlight some of the great relationships that I had. I've had a lot of great relationships. So I don't want to just highlight the negatives or the funny things. So I'm going to try in my mind to think of a relationship next week, because I only have 3 more weeks. that I can highlight a positive relationship. Okay, something that that was really great in a situation that a good thing rather than bad thing. Okay, I will end this by saying, please like, share, and comment, and I will be sure to answer all the comments. I will reply to them. I also want to say thank you for making UTB, because this is a UTB and Unpacking the Baggage podcast segment product. Thank you for making our podcast great. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for trusting us to give you your source of entertainment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't say it enough that I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I understand that there's a responsibility to bring you really good content and entertain you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to end with talking about this Sunday, UTB 7 p.m. Do not forget to tune in. This week it will be Candy Way Up. Andrea's off this week. It will be Tristan Hobbs. It will be Anthony P. And it will be me. And then it will also be Jayla with the T. So tune in for that. And then this Wednesday, I'm going to talk to Alicia Johnson on this Wednesday at 7:30. She is the guru of the hair industry. And then next week, next Friday, a week from today, I will be back with Straight Talk No Chaser, which is story time situation. It is raw, it is real. Everybody can't rock with Straight Talk No Chaser, right? So I don't expect to have everyone listening to it, because it's so real and raw and story times. And so that's what's going on the week for UTB. So I would like to say thank you again, thank you again, thank you again, and continue to support UTB. And hey, don't forget about this up here, this Cash App, okay? I'm going to bring my hand on my head, but I'm going to say this up here. All right, here's the Cash App, all right? Please scan the Cash App, and that's how you support the podcast. That's how you support the movement, is send your Cash Apps right here. If you want to support, we don't ask for monetary donations, right? You can advertise through it, but that's how you support the cause, is right here through the Cash App, okay? Until next Friday, on Straight Talk No Chaser, we will see you this Sunday at 7 p.m. Different time, but same bat channel. Good afternoon. I'll see you Sunday.
Had another rough conversation with the voices